A fun one today. We got this 2014 Nissan Altima that we've had since about 2017, and on the whole it's been a good car, but we had the steering lock die on it. It cost $1,000 to get this little rack solenoid replaced. Well, we took it down after spending over $1,000 on a service, where it turned out all the discs needed to be replaced. Took it down, but we were going down for a drive to Melbourne. We drove like about 1,800 kilometres or something in the last week. Anyway, got back about 2 hours from home and went to put air in one of the tyres. It was down a bit. Parked, and when we went to leave, my wife was driving and put it into reverse. Went to put it into reverse and it had stayed in the gear. And it transpires that my daughter and son-in-law, their car that they'd had for a long time, the gear change failed on that, and it was just the end of the cable that selects the gear. So I found, after a bit of searching, crawling around underneath the car on a stupid little, with it up on a stupid little jack under the bonnet on this side, there is the lever that allows you to select the gear. So we drove home with me actually manually getting out, opening the bonnet and changing it into whatever gear we needed to drive home. So I'm about to embark on the joyous task. I'm pretty certain the problem's down here. The cable looks fine under the bonnet. So I watched a video, as you always do. These seats are right forward now. I've watched how to get into the get the console out. So I think that there's a this comes off the back or something. I'll go and watch it again. But I think I have to pull that off, which lets me get to some screws in here, which then lets get the other screws. And so I'm very excited. I love pulling bits of plastic apart on cars. Just my idea of fun for a Saturday. But, and to make things even worse, we're about to get rid of this car. We've literally ordered another car. We're waiting for the car to be ready to pick up. So this is particularly frustrating, but we do what we have to do. With a fair bit of mucking about and pulling and reefing, I have managed to get this main piece out. I took a bit more out than I needed to, but basically there was these two pieces up here that clip in here that kind of hold it in place. But now we can see the source of the problem. If I can get the camera there, that is supposed to be clipped in, and that's just the end of the cable, and that's pretty well, let's see if I can get that to focus. This just fell off the end here, which meant that moving the handle does not move the cable, which is the identical fault, but at the opposite end is what my daughter had with her Falcon. So I just need to come up with some way to reliably, and I don't want to do it super dodge. There's a broken piece of plastic that I couldn't really get to, but there's just a piece of plastic, clips over that, clips over this here, that retains that in position. So I need to make something that will replicate that and just hold this from doing that. If I do that, we're back in business. So I'll have a think about what I'm going to do. Okay, so this is the pin that I'm having to put. There's the cable. What I've done is I've sort of tricked it into thinking it's still in park by unhooking that and just moving this. So now I can measure this and I can machine up a replacement. I'll measure inside the diameter of that there, and I'll measure this, and I'll make something that'll just go in there. That's got a little, if I make it quite tight, there's actually a barb on there, so you just push it in. So I might turn it up out of some nylon or something. If I machine that up, I should be able to put it all together and then just push everything back together again. So we should be back in business. So in line with my practice, this is my beautiful drawing here, which was modelled from this, which I didn't, even though it says the same thing. I didn't like the texture. Anyway, so I've got some Delrin. I will machine this, and I'm hoping that that will hold everything in place. And just in typical style, I've managed to break the right angle USB micro plug on this when I was using the lathe recently. So before doing this job, I was trying to do that. I actually glued up my crappy glasses here that had broken up here before I started the whole job. Then I disconnected that, and I'd bought another cable, but the other cable's got USB-A here, so I'm going to have to cut and solder to make a cable that works there, but I'm not going to do that now. So yeah, all of this to get to a point where I can fix the car. Well, I got a little bit ahead of myself because I was keen, but there's the part I made. Just turned that up, and that's pushed over, and now this cable can't go anywhere, so that's fixed. That's located all the way in. It's an interference. I had to use pliers to get the that part on. So now I ought to be able to. It's just a matter of putting it back together. It's easy to say just, but it's just a matter of putting it back together. But there's, yeah, I machined that up, and it's got a boss, and like I said, it's got a. I machined it with a 21/64 drill, which is 8.3 mil, and the barb is 8.5, so it'd be hard to get that back off again. So now, time to assemble it all. Put it all back together again, getting dark now, but it's all clipped back together again, and my wife has driven it down to the shops and back, and everything is as it should be. So it only took me probably, I don't know, 2 hours or something like that, maybe 2.5, but yes. So ironically, we're trading this car in a matter of weeks. So, but I think that fix is a proper fix, and it's not going to cause anyone else trouble. I reckon other things will break before that does. I've used better material. The Delrin is better than the plastic they will have injection molded to hold it together before. So here we are, done.